afternoon, Travis.
Good day, sir. Top of the morning to you.
Dr. Roy.
Top of the
I'm
evening.
here.
Travis doing a little recreation of our intro, so we're all three right on at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Pretty nice. Hello.
It's kind of neat.
guys.
Hey, you guys.
We could be in 3 different rooms and you'd never know it, except for the picture up there.
That's right.
That's how we do things.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yes, sir, engineer.
Well, since our big podcast with Neil Fischer last week, I know it was a little bit different than what we normally cover, and so today is going to be a little bit more back into the swing of how we normally do things. Maybe not quite as many clips. I'm trying to tone those back a little bit. But the first thing out of the gate, I feel several things in the world going on right now that I feel like I should talk to you guys about, and anyone that has an opinion about it out in the sphere of people that are listening, please reach out to us and let us know if there's other things you see going on. I do have a lot of different people that are sending me clips of different things and things they feel like need to be shared or addressed. I greatly appreciate that. Please feel free to continue doing that. If we're Facebook friends, you can send it via Messenger. If we're not, find me on Facebook. Same thing with Twitter, @Chad Schmidt. You can send me information there. To start, one of the things I got some feedback from the last podcast is to say too much. So I'm going to try to do my best. I got myself a little note over here.
You also got into a fight about Bitcoin, or I did.
You did?
No, yeah.
How?
Online.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I see that? Was I a part of that?
Yeah.
It was the one.
Must not have been a very big fight.
I think it's the one that was talking about how it was fake money. It'll tank in no time.
money.
You chimed in on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I do vaguely remember that.
That was the author.
I'm trying to.
Agent.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of who said it was fake money, though.
Him.
No, it wasn't.
He said it was a Ponzi scheme.
Neil Fischer didn't say that.
No,
Bitcoin...
not AJ. The artist.
Oh, well, you said the author, and we interviewed the author. So
Yeah. I was like, there's no way.
No. Yeah, and he didn't come back and say anything. I would really like to talk to him. Maybe we have him back on and talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, he's a very smart guy, and if he's cautious or curious or scared about it, I like having those conversations.
Is that the farmer?
No, he's AJ Newman. He's okay.
Yeah, AJ.
Yeah. So we potted with him in the basement of Doc's house.
Down in the troll.
And I got several books of his.
Yeah.
His books are very, very entertaining. So just because he doesn't agree with us on Bitcoin right now doesn't mean that we're going to rule him out of our life.
No.
Or cancel him.
Oh, no, not at all.
We're not leftists.
He's allowed to have his own opinion. But,
Sure.
Well, and sometimes I think different people in anything are in different phases of the buying cycle. And some
people that don't understand the ins and outs of Bitcoin, I think could very easily see it as well a Ponzi scheme.
Sure.
And the history of a lot of the other crypto coins, a lot of the other altcoins, there have been a lot that were pump and dumped, and that were they were pretty much a Ponzi scheme. One guy created it, everybody buys into it. That guy dumps what he's got, and then it becomes a worthless coin. It's possible, not with Bitcoin as much, but it is possible. So I can see where he would have.
Well, and anything is possible, and especially with runaway AI, that's the biggest thing that a lot of people in the Bitcoin sphere are concerned about is some kind of advanced AI with, the latest. I got to quit saying the latest thing from Google. What's the name of their
Gemini?
Not Gemini. The quantum computers.
Oh,
so once they have enough power to power those, that might be the biggest test that Bitcoin gets as far as being able to remain uncrackable. But I do highly recommend people to pay attention. Go on to Twitter if you can. There are some decent people on Facebook, but not nearly as many. I spend most of my time on Twitter if I'm just looking for feeds and looking for clips. I'm going to share some of them today about Bitcoin.
There's a subreddit it's a Bitcoin. It's called Bitcoin. The subreddit is, and it's a very good subreddit to go down.
Okay, if you're on Reddit, you can find that too. And Travis can. If you reach out to Travis, he can send that to you.
If he's not too busy watching porn.
Who?
Travis on Reddit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a lot more to Reddit than that. Well, I mean, just like the internet, there's a lot more to the internet than that too. But
apparently that's the way.
Apparently,
Bitcoin was a big part of porn and drugs in the beginning. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The founding part of it is drug dealers were using it to make transactions. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, there's another one, and I forget what it's called. That's kind of an unbreakable crypto, and they use that because it doesn't have, nobody can look at the exchanges that they have of it. And damn, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, well, you have to bring that information next time, then it'll give us something to dig into. But where we're going to go straight out of the gate here, we've talked about it on several episodes, but it's been a while since we really kind of talked about AI and how fast it's coming and what it might mean. Everything is starting to ramp up again, I believe, with what it is going to do, how fast it's going to do it, how much it's going to disrupt society, how much it's going to disrupt jobs, and just what kind of craziness it's going to cause in the world, I guess might be the best way to put it. Just so everyone knows, if you're not out there playing with AI on a regular basis, meaning, if you have a Twitter account, you get a free version of Grok, which is a pretty high-end Grok for nothing. You can use it for free. So I highly recommend you go out there and just start messing with it.
Asking questions.
Yeah, ask questions. And it's not always right still. Yeah. I still catch it in trap lies. Me and Doc are shooting information back on the medical side of tyranny and going back through COVID. And it still does revert back to some of the old stuff that you heard during COVID, which we've proven to be false over time. So it's not 100% factual. I think they're working that out, hopefully, but I'm going to keep.
What's the other one that's on?
OpenAI is
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. That one is very poor in medical stuff.
Okay.
Because I had a patient about 4 or 5 months ago with something going on with her hormones, and I looked it up on Grok and got a whole lot more information than she got on ChatGPT. GPT. In fact, it completely ruled out the possibility of this being a tumor that was causing her hormones. And I jumped on that right away, and I made sure that she didn't have that, which she didn't, but now we know.
Yeah, you can actually run your own home AI. I don't know if I'm working on this this idea because I'm a nerd. I'm a geek when it comes to technology, and I thought
nerds.
I thought, how cool would it be to have your own home Jarvis, like Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. So you can actually run Home Assistant with something called Olama, which that has a plugin for ChatGPT, but it will retain the context and learn what you're saying and what you're doing, and you can actually have a back and forth, and you can kind of have your own Jarvis. Now, I'm looking at running it on like a mini PC, which is going to be somewhat slower. If I would create a 5090, like a 5090 graphics card inside of a server, if I wanted to go that way.
For all the non-nerds out there, that means a very high-end.
Yeah, super expensive high-end video card that has a lot of GPU. It's just a lot of a very heavy GPU, and but you can run your own. Run your own home AI. I'm looking into it. I'm really
well. That's something that we need to have. We need to be having that conversation because that's one of the security concerns I have about the protections from AI with our kids and everything. So it might be maybe something to do with that. My idea is to create an AI that is personal to you and protects you and will root out fake AIs or AIs that are trying to manipulate you or do those different things and be more like a security. Your own security team, as it were. And
speaking of that, I noticed that you put a picture up of Jackie Kennedy, and apparently it got doctored somehow through.
Yeah, so like the image truly was reversed. Jackie was on his right side in the picture that I shared. The sentiment that I was trying to share was the same.
Oh yeah, it's the same sentiment. But the fact
it was opposite, and
the blood splatter was looked more dramatic.
Well, the thing about it is there was only black and white pictures really back then. So if you see it, she was wearing a pink dress, and you couldn't. If you saw any picture from then, in its color, it has been doctored. So my concern, especially with the black and white, is I don't mind if they were enhancing it a little bit to show the spatter that was there, because the spatter didn't show up very well. But I shared another couple of pictures on Facebook today, and she had much more. She had much more blood below the waist and on her, even down her leg,
because she was holding his head in her lap.
Yeah. Well, and they cropped the main picture that everyone shared. They cropped kind of like the right at her
down or something.
Yeah, like right at her chest level, and you couldn't really see a lot of blood. You could see a little discolorment, but again, with old film and old cameras, you're not going to get that contrast with a red blood and a pink. I mean, you're just not going to have that real visual contrast.
Right.
So I didn't really mind the fact that they enhanced it a little bit. I didn't feel like they were they weren't faking it. It was.
I mean, it happened.
She had blood all over him and she made the statement that she was not going to change her clothes the whole day. She was just going to wear it as it was, and so to make statements and whatever pictures and stuff were taken overnight. It was very strong, and so anyway. But to finish your point, you're right. It was an AI'd picture. It looked exactly like her, but it clearly wasn't, because LBJ, the scumbag, was on her right side, and he had his left hand on the Bible and his right hand up, and she was when it happened, she was literally on the left side. So I didn't know the picture well enough.
It might have just been a mirrored image.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it kind of looked, whenever I looked a little closer, the edges and stuff didn't quite look right.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of looked like it was a cutout a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to get too deep into it, because the sentiment was it happened, and it was the point. So, but anyway, to go back,
was in November. Why were they talking about it here in October?
JFK?
The JFK was murdered in November.
Well, I saw, with everything going on, I saw a picture of the blood spatter with her sitting beside LBJ, and I just said, history repeats itself. It was just me seeing a picture that I found profound, and I wanted to basically just make the point. So anyway, I said again. Just I'm going to count. Can somebody count?
I need like a dinger.
I'm going to put maybe if I put a quarter or $1 into the jar every time it happens.
Yeah.
So to get to the point here, why AI is so rapidly evolving, how AI is so rapidly evolving, and what it might do for different industries, different decisions that you make, where your kid might go to college, what they might study when they go to college. There's going to be a lot of decisions that are coming up here in the next 2 years that I'm not sure everyone's talking about, and I'm 100% sure no colleges are really talking about it at any great length, and or necessarily high schools, because the whole mill that we have is your kid needs to go to high school, they need to go to college, they need to get in this funnel, and it's just the way they do things. So I want everyone that listens to this podcast to truly take into consideration what AI is doing. So I'm going to share a clip. One of my buddies, Nick, is starting a podcast with another buddy of mine named Kevin, and it's a really interesting concept. I'm excited for them. And I saw him yesterday, and he shared an audio that he made for the intro to his new podcast. So to make a long story short, he shared the software with me, and I said, man, that's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and make myself one. And just so you know, I'm going to share this, and I'm not saying it's great. It's not perfect. I could spend some time on it, but just know I spent less than 3 minutes on what I'm getting ready to share with you. I put in I went to to Grok. I said, create a song based on all these conversations that we've had about the podcast, and it spit out basically a prompt that then I put the lyrics into this software, and in about 3 minutes of having me sign up and to go in and create this project, it created a song. And this is the song. One of the songs actually created 3 of them.
We've been sold out, slaving for the overlords up high. Time to wake, time to rise, unite or die. They pump the propaganda, screens glow with the lies. Red team, blue team, puppets in disguise. Richmond, north of Richmond, pulling all the strings. Tax your soul to the bone, clip your to change. Race wars on the feed. Politicians preach peace while planting the seed of division, distraction. Keep us fighting the wrong war while they feast on our fury behind the locked door. Break the chains, unite the divided. No more games, no more divided. We choose free will, we stand undivided. From the fields to the streets, hear the rally cry. Liberty's calling, tyrants gonna fry. One nation, one fight. Rich men, good night. I've been selling my soul over time for their throne. Bullshit pay, drown the pain in a bottle alone. They know what you think, track your every move. Holy horrors directing our aimless groove. But the stars ain't aligned for their gods to malign. We dance on no strings, leave the blame behind. Victim of fate, now that's venomous hate. We build our own state, no losing hand dealt. You choose not to decide. You still made the choice. We choose free will. We choose to unite. We choose to unite. We choose to unite. We choose to unite.
All right, Trav. That's good for that one.
Yeah.
So that's one of them, and let's talk about this for a little bit, and then I'm going to share just a couple other ones.
Did you write that?
Top 100.
So
it's a hit.
So Grok helped me write it based on the conversations that I'm having with Grok about optimizing the podcast and the different topics that we talk about. So it basically pulled some keywords out. It pulled the general concept, and I said, write a song. And I gave it what style of song that I wanted, and so Grok gave me the prompt, and you can take the prompt lyrics and put it directly into this other software, and it just spits it out. So I can choose a genre. So I did another one I shared with Travis and a small group, and it was basically Rush inspired. And then there was another
more Dream Theater. It was, like I said before, it was more Dream Theater.
So, but I'm not a huge Rush aficionado like Travis. You can see he's got his Rush shirt on today. I feel if Travis spent 10 minutes inside of this software, he could probably, I'm not saying he's going to create a truly Rush level song. What I'm saying is this technology has already broken down so many doors and taken jobs just, I would have probably had to pay someone $10,000 to come up with a song and do that.
Yeah.
And there's already been lawsuits based on software just like this, because some guy was making a bunch of money on Apple Music or something, and he created a band name, he created like backstories like they were real people, but it was just he used software just like this, and he was making bank. And the fact that there weren't live musicians, like it had to do with I think Apple's usage policies or something, but the fact that they weren't real people, there's currently lawsuits happening because of it right now.
You could get that on Octane in a minute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
you sent that to them.
I'm not saying you're going to have lawsuits. I'm saying if you put it on Apple Music,
no, because this is AI generated voices.
So was this guy. That's what I'm saying. But since he was making money through Apple Music, that was the rub.
Well, so I mean, the interesting thing about there's a lot of different interesting things about this. You can really be more creative, and a person that really loves music but doesn't have the voice.
Maybe if you want to be more of a producer type person.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know how many reels and stuff you guys get, but I have a lot of things popping into my feed with people that are singing and like having messaging type of songs, Christian, all kinds of different things coming from different influencers. And I'm often wondering if they're not creating the music, creating the songs, and then lip syncing to what the AI has helped them, because that's a way I could become like, if I really would,
you could become Milli Vanilli.
Well,
Blame it on the rain.
How many Bitcoin could I buy from being Milli Vanilli for 2 years? I think I might do it.
One of them's passed away already, and the other guy I think is fairly broke.
I would buy Bitcoin and hold on to it. I'm not actually going to spend.
They can't take that away when they find out you're not really.
That's right.
Well, why don't you send that to Shannon Guns at Octane?
Okay. Well, if I do that,
you're going to copyright it.
I'm truly going to spend a little more time on it. I'm gonna
copyright.
I'm gonna maybe fine tune some of the lyrics and clean some things up and put some more direct messaging in there. Again, this was literally 5 minutes of time building this, so I didn't really put a tremendous amount of thought in it, which I thought made it even more intriguing. Yeah. So I'm gonna share just a quick. Not I'm gonna share the whole one of these other two, but let me share this other one, Travis, real quick, and we'll see. This one's more grunge style. Which grunge and 90s grunge is my favorite music.
I hear like some Alice in Chains, maybe.
There's several different things you'll hear in here.
Yeah. We've been chained, slaving for the Overlords' design. Time to choose, time to rise, free will's our sign. Screens with scripted lies, red lines, blue lines, puppets under watchful eyes, architects north of reason, pull the hidden strings, tax the fire in our veins, bind our wandering wings, echo chambers clash, cultures wars on endless feed, leaders vow the light while sowing the dark seed.
I hear some Silverchair in there. I hear all kinds of different things.
Silverchair. Honestly, you're going to shoot me, but I hear a little Chad Kroger too.
What's
the singer? Nickelback.
Oh yeah. All right, we're not going to play
a little. Who sings Cold? Staring down the barrel of a 45. Who is that? Oh man, there's no. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Well, what I think we can do, gentlemen, since we are all big into music, and we were having troubles passing things through YouTube and Spotify, is we can just create our own music and talk about it. We can just we can have a little fun with it, and do a little segment. You know, and I'm not saying every show, but I got one more. I'm gonna play here.
Down by the ground,
oh, that's
the same one.
Oh, it's not the one that I hoped. Never mind.
Do you not have your original
one?
This one's
going to be country.
I thought this one was. And
Shine Down. Shine Down is what I was thinking.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, this cancel it.
Yeah, I think that's the same one that we already listened to.
Yeah, we'll click that one out. So the Rush one is on that computer. We'd have to get into that. We'll do that later.
Another time.
I think we've proved the point.
Yeah.
So the point is that, gosh, quit saying Now I'm gonna.
Now you just see it every time.
You're gonna hear me hit my head whenever I'm gonna start making noise. What I'm gonna say is I feel this should just hopefully warn people. First of all, I hope you enjoyed the theme song. I may come up with a new theme song every week.
Yeah.
Like talk whatever we're going to talk about, try to mix something together so it's new and interesting. I feel like that might get some traction. You know what I mean? If we send out a song in advance and here's what we're going to talk about, I think it might get some traction. But I think you need to really have some serious conversations with your kids, with your spouse, with why our kids go to college, where they go to college, what are they actually going to,
or if they go to
what
college.
Are they actually going to learn in college, how things are really going to be changing over the next 2 to 5 years. If you listen to anyone that's an AI expert, some of the ones that I'm listening to now, you've got some that are more on the dramatic side that say all hell's going to break loose, and you got ones that say everything's going to change in a really, really positive way. What no one's denying is it's going to be a huge disruption to jobs and to kids coming out of school. And so if you go into school, you have $100,000 education, and you can't apply it to being a doctor in a certain field, which we've talked about that. that'll probably be a nice segue right into talking to you about the state of medicine. But
I've got something to chime in about before you do that.
Yeah. So my only point is start having the conversations. I'm going to dedicate at least one AI segment every podcast because I feel there's two things that are really pressing in our world that is the ultimate tyranny. One of them is going to be AI, and the other one is money and debasement. So Bitcoin and AI are going to be a segment every podcast at the very least, and some medicine mixed in.
I see your little lottery miner there in front of you.
Yeah. Is that what you were wanting to talk about?
No.
Okay. I bought a. So yeah, let's not get into that. But yeah, there's a Bitcoin there's a Bitcoin miner in here. So
and we're talking about running nodes, each one of us at our houses and things. So we're Bitcoining. But no, what I wanted to talk about just real quickly, just because you brought it up, I didn't even think about talking about it today. But I had the pleasure of buying a new water heater, and it was installed today. And there was a young buck. He was probably 20 maybe, who was apprenticing under the journeyman who was installing it today. And we actually talked a little bit about AI while they were kind of working and stuff. And, I said, well, I think this is a little more AI proof than a lot of other avenues you could go through. And he looks at me straight dead in the eye and he goes, and I have zero debt right now. He didn't have to borrow any money, to get into this apprenticeship program.
Sure.
And eventually be a journeyman.
That's the way it works. And I know guys that are 28 years old and are making six figures just because they started at 18 when they got out of high school and went to the trades.
Yeah. I told him, I said, man, I paid off my student loans just a couple years ago finally. I said, man, if I had it all to do over again, I'd probably, do what you're doing right now. Yeah. I'd find a trade, I'd apprentice, I'd become a tradesman and join a union and go that route. Because we've talked a little bit about AI and the kind of the takeover of what jobs AI could possibly take over. And I think you're a little safer. The day may come whenever, Tesla's, humanoid robots or something will have the dexterity to do the manual trades. But right now I think a plumber, who was there today installing my water heater, or an electrician or those kind of tradesmen, I think
HVAC
are at least safer for a longer period of time than
I'll give them 5 years safe.
So you think that the Tesla robots...
I think the Tesla robots...
will be able to come install my hot water heater in 5 years.
So there's two different people that were talking about the fine-tune motor parts and all that. And they believe with technology, if you look at the rate of advancement and how it blasts upward after you get to a certain point, and then when you get superintelligence, which they're saying it's superintelligence now, which is AGI or general intelligence, they're talking about 2027. So 2027, once you have robots making robots and robots making better designs and fine-tuning things, I think that's when it becomes very unpredictable.
That's when they all have lasers and missiles in their back and no,
well, I mean, so I mean, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the dire part of that. I mean, you can have that with drones now, so we don't really need that. But I think the real conversation needs to be had that you need to find a way to make as much money as you can in the shortest amount of time. That's the reality of it to me. And that has to do with the debasement of our dollar, which we're talking about with Bitcoin and the potential dropping of the value of a dollar. So, I mean, we're going to start using the word, we're stacking sats in the Bitcoin language. That just means you're buying as much Bitcoin. If you have $5 extra at the end of the week or $100 or whatever your savings plan is, that there's been no better return on any investment than Bitcoin in the last 12 years.
Yeah. It's on the rise right now too.
And the dollar's...
We're at about 120.
The dollar's dropping
down.
out.
Oh, is it down?
Well, but down. If you look at the graph, it's not down.
Oh, it's not that down.
No.
Yeah, it's like 123 now.
It's doing this again.
It was 127 over the weekend.
You guys like my new Satoshi long sleeve shirt?
I like that.
Yeah.
Got the bees and the big
That's right, the big eyeball smile. So, Doc, transitioning to you, since we talked about we've talked about AI, we've talked about the potential for jobs switching over.
Yeah.
Just generally, I don't think I've asked you this kind of question in a long time. What is your general thought on the state of the medical industry right now compared to when you saw it, where you thought it was maybe prior to COVID? And I'm not saying you have to cover everything that we've talked about, but just where was it where is it now? Is it better or worse? And kind of where do you see it going? I guess might be.
Well, I think it's worse now because there's such a demand for physicians that they're adding in nurse practitioners and physicians' assistants and heading in that direction. So you might, in a couple of years, you might never see a really MD or DO. You might just see a nurse practitioner the whole time. And the other thing about it is that at least 4 years of physicians have been let out of medical school in DEI. Take the example of the Los Angeles, University of Los Angeles medical group. They started in 2020, I think, maybe 2021, to accept people based on DEI. So it didn't matter what your scores were. It mattered, whether or not you were
certain race or color or sex
or color or gender or whatever. Well, the gender is not a big deal now because 54% of the people who get accepted to medical school are female. So, and let me tell you, in my class of 130, we had about 18 females.
Wow.
So that was in 1971.
Well, before you move on to the next piece of that, how do you, I know I'm not going to put you on the spot to this point, but with AI replacement of some general thing, like your doctor friend who is a radiologist,
I think
he says that his job is going to be replaced because you're going to be able to look at radiology in a much different way, in a much broad scale, more than one set of eyes can predict.
And they're already using some AI on the things that they look at. They'll run it through and the computer will say, yeah, it's okay, or no, hey, you missed this on there. The thing about him is that in addition to reading the radiographs, he actually does work with the patient. He does biopsies, he does all these other things. And I don't think we'll ever, well, I won't say ever, but I don't think within this decade that we'll have robots that can do this.
Well, I mean, now, I think though he could use his skill less in the looking at things and more in the taking care of things, probably in the interim, right? So there'd just be fewer of him in that one capacity, but he could switch his energy into something more.
Well, but that's a geographic thing. There's only a limited number of those procedures that need to be done in Evansville. So that might be 25% of what he does.
So he might have to be traveling to surrounding cities and be
either that, or he could have a robot that he's giving commands to at another place.
Because they are doing some stuff with robots.
Yeah, they're doing that already. A lot of surgeries that are done now. The guy who's actually the surgeon is sitting in a little booth telling the robot what to do. So
I would think on knees and stuff like that, it might be a no-brainer to do it.
Yeah, they do it on knees. They do it on prostates. They do it on female operations. I don't think they've done it on hearts yet, but getting bypasses on the heart is a whole lot bigger now than it was back in 1975 when people were doing it. And
back when we were healthier and not eating the garbage we eat now.
We were not healthier. We had a hell of a lot of people with bad hearts back then. But
we're not as heavy, maybe.
I went to
that's what I meant with the food.
I went to an interview at St. Louis at the big place over there, and I said, how many coronary bypasses do you do a week? And he said, oh, we do about 4 or 5. And I said, University of Alabama does 5 a day.
Wow.
And they said, well, that's the University of Alabama, because that was, at that time, one of the biggest places, because John Kirkland was there. But there's still, I mean, doing bypasses on coronary arteries is pretty routine nowadays. But some of the types of surgery, yeah, they can do them with robots, but sometimes you gotta say the robot ain't working and slice them open and take care of it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the surgical aid robots, they allow you a greater range of motion, but the robot is you can be more precise. It's like I can move my arm a foot, but that little device might only move a millimeter or something. Like you can get really precise and drill down.
Yeah, you can get more precise rather than sitting there with a knowing how much you're going to do it, and if you're 1/10 of a millimeter off, it might be bad, and that thing will be able to hold that the knees, and I don't think they've quite got to hips on that, because hip replacement is a little more difficult, but they've certainly done it on knees, and they've done it on hysterectomies, they've done it on prostates, and a lot of other things. So, the thing, I saw an article the other day that people are getting trained in this sort of thing in their surgery rotations, but they come out and they're not. What do you do when you've got to open the patient up and actually do the operation with your hands? Mm-hmm. And these guys have only done 5 or 10 when they get out of residency. They may have done 65 of the robot stuff, but they've only done 5 or 10. So that's like having a first-year resident operating on you. So it's worse. Anyhow.
Yeah.
That's but what I was saying about the DEI is at UCLA is that in the 4th year, something like 60% of their of their students could not pass the formal tests to get through medical school, and it was probably all because of DEI.
So they had to lower the standards?
No, they didn't.
They just didn't pass them.
They just didn't pass them. So they screwed that up. But the ones that did get through, they're still. I mean, who would you rather have flying your airplane? Somebody who was 120th in their class, or somebody who was in the first % of the class?
I want the best pilot available.
Well, that was the whole Charlie Kirk thing. That when they took it, anybody who was trying to go against him took it out of context, because it had nothing to do with the color of the skin of the pilot. It had to do with how qualified that pilot, whomever they might be, is.
Just remember, the guy who graduates last from medical school is still a doctor.
I know a girl who she went to become a doctor, and anytime she was getting a C by the middle of the semester or whatever, she just dropped the class and retook it. And she can eventually be a doctor. I would never want her to work on me, but
that'll be happening, because I mean, I was 6th in my class of 130, and that got me into some good residencies and fellowships. They were fighting for me over fellowships because the nephrology department wanted me, and the pulmonary department wanted me, and they almost had a fight in the hallway one time. No, I want him.
That'd have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
So there it goes again. The came out. So
I don't hear the hum.
no. I'm filling
word.
gaps. I have to quit using that as a filler word.
Yeah.
So last week or 2 weeks ago, I asked you a question regarding mRNA technology and where we are with that, but also in the veterinary side of things. So the concern with me still is we don't really know what's in vaccines at all.
Yeah.
And the mRNA, a lot of the things we've shared on here, talked about and heard, and I don't know where we are with it, about mRNA shedding, meaning, if someone close to you has had an mRNA vaccine and you're close to them, I'm assuming swapping bodily fluids, that there can
be even sneezing.
There can be some leaching there, or some transfer of that gene, mRNA gene, from person to person. So my concern in asking you that question was, if we give our dogs mRNA shots, is that something that can potentially slide over to us? So I don't know if you were able to see anything or found anything. I'm sure
I couldn't find much.
Okay.
I really couldn't.
Well, my wife, when she took the dogs to the vet, they said there was no mRNA in what they gave them.
Show me.
I don't know how they know that.
Show me the list.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is the list, they use words that are not necessarily true when they're putting that up there.
Right.
Just like the people who put agave juice in sugar instead of sugar, but really, agave juice is sugar. And the only thing that I really trust anymore in the way of sweetening is honey. And yet honey is still, if you get really good honey that hasn't been, broken with stuff from India or China, then it's good. Local honey is the best thing because it's raw and you get that.
And I guess from your backyard would be the best if the pollen comes from the flowers around you and the things that are around you. Yeah. I imagine like you
got to have more bees than that because.
Well, we got a neighbor that's got 4 hives.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, we can get it from him. Our buddy Jesse Cosbade, who we podcasted with.
That jalapeno honey was delicious.
Oh, it was. And I got another thing from him like 2 months ago, and my son is annihilating it. It's delicious. But
is it the jalapeno?
No, it's just plain. No, not because I put it in my tea in the morning, so I don't know if I want to do jalapeno.
Yeah. Spicy tea. That's a spicy meatball.
So our concerns. I still believe the mRNA. Even I will say, Kennedy and his whole administration. I don't think that they're still doing. I mean, they canceled the COVID vaccine requirement. There's states now that are jumping on board and pausing or not. I think Florida jumped on and said you're not going to require our kids to have vaccines prior to going to school.
The newest one is that the health services here in the federal have jumped on the MMR chicken pox because that's typically now given as a 4 level of 4 different diseases, and apparently the chicken pox wasn't feeling very well around with the others, and there were some problems with it. So they're saying no more of any of those before age 4. This is the Health and Human Services.
That's good.
No more before age 4, and you cut out the chicken pox. You can give MMR and you can give chicken pox, but you can't give them all as one shot.
Okay. I didn't realize that they grouped them into 4.
Yeah.
I know our sons did MMRs. They didn't. It wasn't.
Well, some of them have as many as 7.
Wow.
In them because they'll throw in the Haemophilus and a bunch of other stuff. And a lot of people don't know this, but when Gardasil came on the market, it was a prevention of human papillomavirus, and it said got to give it to your little girls. Well, first they started with little girls, and then they went up to 24 years old, and now they're saying people of any age ought to be taking the human papillomavirus shot, male or female, and that's bullshit. Because if you get that, if you get the disease, it goes away after a little while.
Isn't it precancerous though? Can it cause cancer?
There are only 3 that are precancerous, and there are 17 or 18 different types.
Okay.
And they can figure out which type you've got or have had simply, mainly with women. They'll do a pap smear, and they'll take some of that and test it for DNA, and they'll know which type. Because I had another friend who was just crazy because she had never had HPV, but she ended up showing positive for HPV with abnormal cells. And what they did on her was just let it take its run, and it did. In about a year, it was undetectable. But that, and a lot of the young ladies who were given Gardasil ended up with problems, like neurologic problems.
Speaking of neurologic problems, what's your take? I don't think we've had a discussion about Tylenol yet with you on here, have we?
Oh, okay.
We talked about it a little. We will jump to that. I'll write that down.
Yeah.
I want to stay on the exact where we're at, because several months ago, it might have been a year ago, we got into several series of conversations about Hep B.
Yeah.
And I think we were on opposing sides, and I'm not trying to bring that specific conversation back up. Let me ask you the question first. What I'm going to say is,
let me move back on that and say that I am no longer in favor of giving newborns Hep B.
Well, I was going to get there. I wasn't going to pin you on that one. What I was going to say,
Japan has gone totally away from that. They won't give Hep B until age 1.
Of course, if the mother is a drug addict or a prostitute, or in situations that the child has a likelihood, they'll pre-test.
Yeah.
And if she tests for hepatitis B, then absolutely they should probably maybe give the shot to the child.
You can't detect it in the first 8 weeks of having gotten.
But if she's had it, if she has it, you'll know
if
anyway.
If she has it, you'll know if you test that. But if she's had intercourse or has shot up within 8 weeks, you're not going to find it there.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And this isn't your field of expertise. I know you don't deliver babies, but so if a mother has hepatitis B, let's say she had it before the child was conceived.
Yeah.
And does the child automatically get it, or does it not happen until the child is born?
It happens usually when the child is born.
Okay.
Because the child gets mother's blood and his own blood on them, and if the mother has hepatitis B, chronic hepatitis B, if she breastfeeds, then that will go across to the child. Mm-hmm. So you've got to worry about that. And the big thought was that, if you give it to them on the first day, it will keep them from getting hepatitis B. And true, having done that, they have reduced the number of cases of hepatitis B in children by 99%. But, how many kids die of crib death all the time? And a lot of them will die within 2 weeks of having gotten that shot.
So every vaccine has a risk.
Yes.
No vaccines are safe, really. Safer, there's levels of safety. Everything that you take, everything you put in your body has some risk.
One
Right.
One is safe, and that's smallpox.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected.
There is no smallpox anymore.
Right.
We don't give vaccines for that.
Right.
But it basically got rid of a disease that killed 30% of the people who got it, and messed up about another 30%.
Okay. Well, thank you for keeping up with the hepatitis B.
Yeah.
Because I know we talked about that, and the only thing obviously I come on here, I'm not a doctor, but I just hear things, and I know other people hear things. We don't want vaccine hesitancy where vaccine hesitancy is not required or the intelligent thing. But when I heard multiple people and senators and different things saying, look, we waited for our kid to get the Hep B until 1 year old or 4 years old or whatever, then that removes that crib death potential there if there is a risk factor for that.
Japan has done that. Yeah. They say no Hep Bs before age 1. And that has lowered their crib death by a great deal.
Okay.
Now, do you want to talk about Tylenol?
Yeah. Let's roll back into that. So do you have something that you want
to... how his feelings on whether or not Tylenol, I know...
All right.
As a layman...
Let me back up.
All right.
Let me back up. Tylenol became over-the-counter in 1956.
I'm talking about acetaminophen, not necessarily just Tylenol.
Yeah, acetaminophen.
That's the active ingredient.
Is the active ingredient. It became over-the-counter in 1956.
Okay.
The number of autisms didn't start until about early 1990. It didn't really boost up until 1990. It may have been gradually going up. Okay, what in God's name happened between 1956 and 1990 that caused kids to start getting autism? Because it didn't hurt any of the people who took that before.
Well,
doesn't acetaminophen like pull something away from like the ingredient in that does something to you as a person, like it. Okay, hang on.
Come on.
Now I got to find it.
Okay, so let me step in.
Doctor.
I did quite a bit of grok research on this particular thing, going in with the exact question that you have about the timing of it.
Yeah.
To my understanding, there's, first of all, several things can be true at one time. Secondly, like
the same thing. Every
mother didn't start taking Tylenol massively in 1956.
No.
There was a period of time. Let me just finish kind of what Grok told me, and then you can step on it.
Yeah.
There was a good window of time there where women were not supposed to take anything. Like you weren't supposed to put anything foreign, weird stuff in your body. I'm just saying what the doctors were telling mothers for a long window of time.
Not true.
Well, the grok lied to me.
There was a anti-emetants thing that they gave to the women because women throw up when they're in the early pregnancy. And this one was on the market for 25 years, and all of a sudden somebody started to say that it's killing their children or it's deforming their children. And they went to court, and they lost the court, but they removed that particular thing off of it was not available, and then now it's back on because the stuff that was shown in the courts did not support the fact that this was causing problems with the children. So here's what I'm saying is about 1990 was when women started to get more tattoos. And it has increased, but back in 1990, and I've told you guys this before, and back in 1990, the ink had heavy metals in it. You can't get purple unless you put cobalt in it at that point. You can't get green unless you put beryllium in it. So there's some heavy metals that go in there. Now they've stopped putting heavy metals and come up with, plant-made ink for tattoos, so it's no longer being used. But there is a group of women who got exposed to that because they decided to get a tattoo. And it's not getting a tattoo while they're married. I don't think any, or while they're pregnant, I don't think any tattoo artist would give a woman who is currently pregnant.
Well, I think the tattoo. I don't know. I think women that want to get tattoos, doesn't matter when, it's like smoking cigarettes. Some of them didn't stop doing that. Some of them didn't stop drinking. Let me just give you the quick summary of historical context of Tylenol and acetaminophen.
Yeah,
you were right. 1955. It was created.
It was created back in 1880 something.
Over the counter since 1955.
But over the counter since 19.
So fever reducer for pregnant women starting in late 1970s to 1980s.
Yeah.
Shift occurred. Medical guidelines discouraged alternatives like aspirin due to risk of bleeding and birth defects. The recommendation solidified its widespread adoption, with usage rates rising steadily through the 1990s and 2000s. Mm-hmm. And so my point, going back to just to pinpoint what I was saying, there wasn't a mass adoption where all pregnant women were using Tylenol. It was kind of a slow build, and then I think it peaked in the 90s and 2000s, which looks more as to why the curve has gone up pretty dramatically in autism. So I'm not trying to rule out the one theory of being potentially tattoo related. It'd be really interesting to say.
It could be anything else.
Well, how many? Let's see how many autistic kids have moms with tattoos. Let's see that number and see what the correlation is there. That seems like
when the tattoo was done. That's not my job to go out and ask women with autistic kids if they had a tattoo.
Well, I think we should use that sounded wrong. We should take every autistic family, every autistic mother and kid, and use it as a survey point. Hey, do you want to really dig in and see what autism is or isn't doing? Let's create a huge checklist of things that they did and didn't do. Did you use Tylenol during pregnancy?
Did you eat pickles?
Did you get a tattoo? Did you, whatever the things, let's just do a huge survey. That's the only way to get to the bottom of it. Travis, did you circle back and dig out the thing you wanted to mention?
I'm digging. It talks about oxidative stress and the anti-inflammation thing.
That's the whole purpose of
inflammation. Excuse me. Well, but I'm still reading. I'm trying to.
Anti-inflammation is what it does.
Right.
It's very good, and it doesn't work for everybody, and that's why we've got non-steroidal anti-inflammatories on the market now.
This is going to sound really cold and harsh.
Biome depletion. I think that's what I had read. No. This is talking about biome depletion. Vitamin D deficiency and a few things that Tylenol can do, and it's exacerbated when it's combined with other things. So, such as vaccines or such as just things. I think it's a combination. I don't think it's just Tylenol, acetaminophen.
Southern Comfort, if they drink when they're pregnant, their kid's gonna come out weird.
You're right, and if they shoot themselves in the face, they will too. Where the hell does that come from? I'm talking about acetaminophen and vaccines or other things that have been implemented in the child pre-birth or right at birth that are causing this issue, this problem. It may not be the vaccine that's the problem. It may not be the Tylenol that's the problem. It may be combination of the two.
Yeah, multiple factors, multiple chemicals, multiple things going on.
You could have done the same work if you'd have said, "Did you eat pickles while you were pregnant?" Because almost all women eat pickles when they're pregnant. And
I feel like this is just another polio conversation. I feel like he's just shitting on what we're talking about. That's just me though.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I'm telling you.
I think we're gonna get somewhere here in the next year or two.
Yeah.
Now that the spotlight's on it, I guess the one thing I do want to say, and this is going to come off to insensitive, and if any of my female friends or listeners that hear this don't like it, I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel. Just as a general society, we've become very intolerant to any kind of pain. And the thing about a headache or other kind of pain is it is a symptom of something that's going on that has a root problem that needs to be addressed that Tylenol absolutely doesn't fix. The only thing that Tylenol does is like a Band-Aid on the inside, except for it doesn't stop you from bleeding. It just stops you from feeling the thing that you're feeling. I feel like if we were more in tune with our bodies and actually determining I've got a pain in my leg or pain in my abdomen or pain in whatever, we probably should look more of why do we have that rather than let's pop these things and just cover it up. That's just my general rule of thumb.
Most women who took Tylenol during pregnancy was because they were having back pain from carrying around the load.
Yep.
And
could we have got some better exercises, some yoga, some stretching, some other things? I'm not saying, look, I don't want to be cold.
I could say some very inappropriate things right now.
Okay.
And
when did you ever stop doing that?
Oh, really? Well, what I'm saying is that between the 90s and the 2000s, the average weight gain during pregnancy.
You can say that. You're a doctor.
Went straight up.
Yeah, which is going to cause pain in the back even for people that aren't pregnant.
Yeah, and you take Tylenol for it.
Well, I don't, but I usually try to lose weight and do stretches, and that's when if I sit around too much and we've gotten very sedentary, we're sitting and working on computers and stuff, that causes back problems because your hips are locked up and all that different stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I mean,
I used to have back pain all the time, and I found out how not to have it without having to take something for pain.
Yeah. So that's the moral of my story right there.
Yeah.
You just said it. Travis, did you have anything to add onto that?
No, I'm good.
Man, we're clicking along pretty good today.
Yeah. Well, I got all kinds of other stuff I could talk to.
Well, no, I've got a lot of different things to talk about. So I've been listening to a lot of the things coming out, and again, this is just something I feel like I'm going to just hit some quick talking points. Yeah. A lot of the things that are talking about with AI advancement and moving over into the doctor realm and the you said there's a doctor shortage, but there's also going to be probably a thinning of the need for certain kinds of doctors. So maybe fewer doctors, maybe not necessarily as bad in some areas. But the UBI conversation is kind of where I want to get to that.
That are going to be hit the most are radiology and pathology, because a lot of that can be done by AI, by looking at and faster than the radiologist can. The AI can read it in, a tenth of a second, and the radiologist takes a minute to read it. And the same thing with looking at things under microscopes that pathologists do. The AI can look at that very, very quickly and tell us what's going on. And the pathologist, very, very well, and the pathologists sometimes make mistakes, or sometimes I've seen them sit there for 20 minutes trying to figure out what it is.
Well, so just to kind of circle back around to what I was getting at with UBI, which for those that haven't heard that term, it's universal basic income. Me and Doc have talked about it from a doctor's perspective, because there's been doctors in medical school that are probably if you're in the radiology pathology track and you've spent however many years doing that, and then all of a sudden jobs start evaporating, you've got this very specialized set of skills and tools that you now can't really use. So if you can't adapt and adjust to something else pretty quickly, then you're going to have a huge debt and some real problems in society for people that can't afford to make that gap. So I'm not saying I have the answer to what that means, because the first time I heard universal basic income, I was like, no, we're not going to be, we're
socialism.
We're not going to be socialism. We're not doing communism or whatever. But the reality of it is, if you take more and more and more jobs away from society, you're going to have to find a way to have people able to survive. Yeah. And you could just say, well, let the chips fall where they may. That's going to turn into some pretty significant chaos. So I think the AI companies, all these tech companies, are going to make more and more money off these robots. I feel like those corporations probably are going to owe society some money back at a higher tax rate or whatever. I mean, you want them to keep
going to I mean, who's going to repair all of those? It's probably a human.
Well, yeah, I mean, for now,
you could have robots that repair robots.
For now, you're right.
Show me one.
Well, there will be one, and probably a year after they make them,
Show me one.
Well, they don't have them yet.
Okay, then
that doesn't mean.
What are you talking about then?
Okay, well, the tide is going to change tomorrow. Does that mean that I have to wait till tomorrow to tell you the tide's going to change? It's coming.
No, we know what the tides are going to be. We've got books and
I've read 3 books talking about how society is changing and how technology is changing society.
Show me the money. I mean, show me the robots that make robots. And
well, there's robots that build cars, which are essentially robots.
Well, yeah.
Toyota's out there building robots or building cars with robots. I know,
and they've got about 100 people who repair the robots that they have out there.
Okay, now if they didn't have the robots, how many people do you think it would take to do what those robots do? I think you're
about five times the number of robots.
5 times more humans than robots.
Yeah,
because robots don't have taking time off. They don't need to eat. They don't need a break.
So even if you keep your 100 in your pocket, you're at 1,000 people that are without a job because of the robots. So I mean, that's what I'm getting at.
Well, so Doc, you don't have to agree with me on this one. I've been paying very close attention. I've been very closely paying attention to this. I'm just sending out a warning signal that if we're sitting back and just thinking things aren't going to change massively, this is one of those things that I would bet almost any amount of money that it's going to disrupt things much more than what you're thinking it's going to right now. Meaning robots, once they reach AGI, meaning they are smarter than us, they don't need to wait on us to make decisions on things.
Yeah.
They will figure out a way to solve those problems, and it might not require us to do that.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. I mean, they'll need to resource materials. They'll need to be fed things to spit out the things that we want to create. So it takes uranium, titanium, lithium, all those things. I mean, until they can go out and mine their own stuff, they can't do that. So I mean, we can haul stuff to them, but anyway,
you're always going to need plumbers, and you're always going to need electricians. I don't think that they'll ever get. Well, they may, but I mean that's futuristic stuff.
I would almost say never at this point.
Back when I watched cartoons, people were going to have flying cars. We still don't have flying cars.
Yeah, we do.
Kind of do. They're called helicopters.
50 years.
Helicopters.
Well, not everybody owns a helicopter.
They don't have them because it would cause chaos in the skies. It's not because we don't have the technology to do it.
They have eVTOLs that are already created. I mean, not everybody has them, but you can, in larger cities, you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You could lift. You could call a lift. You could call an eVTOL, and it's like it's a drone that you can sit in, and it will fly you from this helicopter pad on this skyscraper over. I mean, it's expensive.
The biggest thing is the power.
Yeah.
How much power does it require? I mean, that's where we're probably lacking.
They're electric. That's why they're eVTOL.
So the batteries, that's got to be a huge battery pull to lift.
Most of them I see right now, it's a max of 300 pounds, and it's got a charge of like 30 miles as the crow flies.
Yeah.
And that'll get better.
Oh,
and how many Teslas have burned up in the last 10 weeks?
I don't know how many houses have burned up in the past 10 weeks. You're spitting out stats that I don't understand that matter.
What is it? What do you mean by that?
Well, the Tesla has a problem where the batteries in their cars will spontaneously burst into flames. It doesn't happen that often, but it always is on the front page of the newspaper.
Well, that's because media doesn't like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You don't see them talking about GM's electric cars that blow up because they do the same things. They just don't talk about.
Well, no, they talk about those too. And the hydrogen cars. Don't get me started on that.
Well,
we have some buses here in town that are hydrogen.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to get on those because every time I think of a hydrogen vehicle, I think about the Hindenburg.
So you're like the person who is afraid of a nuclear facility next to your house because you've heard of the meltdowns at 3 Mile Island. That's exactly what you're saying, though. You're saying that I think of the Hindenburg blowing up because hydrogen, but they completely aren't the same thing at all. They don't work the same way at all. A hydrogen bus is not a balloon full of hydrogen. They work completely differently.
But that same rationale is why we don't have more exclusive nuclear power. because there have been a couple of places that the technology wasn't good.
When I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for 9 years, every bit of mine came from a nuclear power.
Well, that's sad.
And
sad that they got rid of it.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of it.
They still have it down there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Well, they've been trying to close every nuclear plant for the last 20 years.
They're all still alive and kicking. So France, 70% of France is nuclear powered. And
yeah, I agree with you. I think nuclear power is the safest power source. I'm just talking about how hydrogen buses aren't the same as the Hindenburg.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, so
wait till one blows up.
Well, it hasn't. We haven't seen.
We've had them for 10 years at least.
We haven't seen them.
No.
We have had hydrogen Met buses for at least a decade.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
They've been around for a long time.
Prove it. I don't believe that we've had hydrogen buses in Evansville, Indiana.
Well, just in general, maybe not.
No, in Evansville.
Okay, well,
because I remember going to USI and they were talking about it, and not long after that,
they were talking about it.
No, hang on,
you're being very contrary, Doc.
No shit.
He's actually heard about something, and he's got a pretty good memory. So let's let him look at what he's got. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of other. So I don't know.
I have never seen a bus in this town that says hydrogen.
They're here.
Electrically powered.
I don't know how we're going to find that fast. I don't know if anything on the government if Evansville's government website's going to tell us.
Yeah, I'm trying.
They're not going to tell you anything.
Evansville hydrogen.
Because I've been behind them because they talk about how the exhaust is just pure water.
Well, there's no exhaust from an electric bus either.
I don't know if we have electric buses.
Yeah, we do.
Do we?
They say on them electric bus, but I have never seen one that said hydrogen powered bus. Show me the picture, and I'll kowtow to you that it's there, but I haven't seen it. All right.
Well, you guys may have to talk about something else. I'll keep.
Yeah, and just in case, I am pissed off now. So
what?
About all sorts of things. I've had a bad week.
So, would you need to air any of that out?
No.
Okay.
But
you don't need to take it out on me, Doc.
Yeah. The good part is that I got $42 back from the IRS today. Which
you buy some
apparently I paid too much in taxes last year, so they sent me back $42 today.
Man,
it took them 10 months.
Really nice of them
to get through there.
So obviously we haven't. There goes the again. We've got several things that we could talk about with the Charlie Kirk situation.
Okay.
Candace Owens has been lighting up the skies with a bunch of different things having to do with TPUSA. And so there's
help me with that because I haven't had time.
Okay, so just generally,
I know who Candace is, and I know who TPS is.
TPUSA.
Yeah.
So that's Turning Point USA, which was Charlie Kirk's organization.
Everybody's getting Erica a hard time because she's taking it over and not just crying in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to smash on anybody or mash on anybody. The only thing that whenever Candace Owens comes out and says some things, I don't really enjoy watching her. I haven't watched her a lot. I haven't caught her in any lies per se to say really saying, well, she's really wrong here or whatever. But here's what happened to me because I'm simply sharing things and asking questions. And I had multiple people reach out to me bashing, like having engaging direct messages with me, bashing Candace Owens, basically demanding that I don't listen to anything that she says. She's a liar. She's an anti-Semite. She's all these different things. And I'm talking about from both sides. So Democrats and Republicans are both saying the same things. Usually when someone is getting bashed on both sides, I tend to lean into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the same people do that stuff to Trump. There's people on both sides of the aisle that did that stuff to Kirk. So, anybody that says things that aren't necessarily in the, 100% approved narrative rate is a thing. And I personally had heard Charlie saying several things about Israel, and I'm not here to bash Israel or anything like that. My point is Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and Megyn Kelly have all been attacked by people saying that they're anti-Semite because they're simply asking questions about the things that go on between Israel and our government and the things that went on between Charlie Kirk, TPUSA. Let me finish my point, and then you can come in. Okay. So there's all this connection of when journalists. So these 3, 4, 10 journalists that are saying things that are questions that no one could ever ask about Israel come out and start asking them. When the corporations and the 7 networks or whatever have a controlled narrative and people aren't allowed to ask those questions, then you have this void of questions that can't be asked. You have independent people like a Megyn Kelly, a Tucker Carlson, and Candace, and they're asking these questions, and they're saying these people are saying you're not allowed to ask those things. You must be anti-Jewish or anti-Israel, and I just don't like that at the core. Like I say things and question Americans all the time. I question people in our government on both sides of the aisle all the time. Does that make me anti-American? No. You have to be able to ask the questions. And so anybody that attacks me on that, like I now want to lean more in. I've got like 20 clips that we could talk about, but I don't want to just get too deep into that unless you guys are interested in it.
Let me point something out to you is that not all Semites are Jewish. All Arabs are Semites. So if you say somebody's an anti-Semite, basically you're saying anti-Jewish and anti-Arabs. So you've got to make it more specific. And if they're saying anti-Israel, then there's something for that.
When there's multiple segments within the Israeli culture, it's not all Jewish people think the same, and they're not all.
Oh, true.
Not all of them support Bibi. I mean, there's a lot of people actually that I've heard. We don't get good reporting on it, but I've heard there's a lot of turmoil and things going on because of his extreme policies.
Well,
and other.
They tried to get rid of him, put him in prison, and it just didn't work out. That was 4 or 5 years ago, I think. But I don't like the term anti-Semite because it's too broad. If you say anti-Jewish, then I'll talk to you about it.
Well, there's a clip here I'm going to share in just a second. Give me a minute, and it'll kind of tell you.
And now somebody at home is screaming that I'm a liar because I said Arabs are.
If they don't want to, if they only want one narrative and they don't think that we can ask questions to talk about things, this program's not for them.
That's right.
They can go F off as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. I don't care about it. So I'm going to just play this clip, and what this is showing is there's I believe this is in Israel. There's people protesting in the streets, and this is a conversation that happens.
Israel is not the Jewish state.
This is not a Jewish state. It's a Zionist terrorist state.
It's a Zionist terrorist state.
Correct.
So why is it that they don't consider you? Look, a Jewish person is against that. Are you anti-Semitic?
Let me ask you, am I anti-Semitic?
Tell me, that's what they want to say. Anyone who's against them is anti-Semitic. You're a Jew. Yeah, you're against them.
But the difference between Judaism and Zionism, Judaism is a religion, Zionism is nationalism. This has nothing to do with anti-Semitic. We Jews lived in peace with the Palestinian people hundreds of years, and we lived in peace and we can still live in peace. It's only because Zionism is the philosophy of there's a political movement.
So whatever you want to say about that, here's my context. We have several different political ideologies in the United States of America. You've got right Republican, left Democrat, you've got libertarian, you've got classic liberal, you've got all of these different segments of people, how they identify in their politics. Suggesting that we can't talk about Israel in the same way that everyone, because they're there. I'm not you. I'm just saying this is the argument that they're not letting Candace Owens have. They're not letting Megyn talk about. They're not letting talk. They just want no one talking about Israel in any capacity or holding them critical.
Because they're pushing down Israel.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think the narrative is something that we really need to flesh out. And I'm not the one for that. And Travis, you might not have any official position on this, but
zero. Still looking up what I'm looking up over.
Let's table the hydrogen thing because I think that's a little bit derailing. We can come back to that. There was no intention of really talking about that in any capacity.
Okay.
But if you find something, do research and we'll talk about it. Or we could probably talk to somebody in the local government and figure it out.
All right.
So to make the point here, to finish the point, apparently Charlie Kirk was feeling like he was under pressure from the Israeli state. He was invited to go to Israel.
Yeah.
He was invited to go do several things in Israel. And according to Candace Owen, he decided not to do that. There's several other things leading up to right before he died. He was going to he was asking as to whether he should bring Candace Owens onto one of his campus tours.
Yeah.
He was talking about bringing Tucker Carlson on one of his campus tours. He was talking about bringing Megyn Kelly. And people with inside TPUSA were saying no because some of our Jewish donors don't like what they have to say and may pull their money. And so what Tucker said in conversations with both Megyn and Candace was, they're not buying the conversations that I'm going to have. They're not buying who I can ask questions to or who my friends can be. They're simply not going to do it. So just in the last 3 months before he died, he turned down $2 million a year from a big Jewish donor. And because he was going to have Candace on. And
so that makes him anti-Jewish?
Well, people were saying and calling Candace a liar because she said, this is what happened. They're like, no, it didn't. He loved Israel. He would never say anything, whatever. So then, just to kind of round the story out, she's released a video just in the last few days that said, I have a text chain between me, Charlie, and people within it wasn't her and Charlie. It was Charlie and people within TPUSA saying exactly that. He introduced the idea of bringing Candace. There were people inside of the organization that were saying, no, we shouldn't, because people that are Jewish and donors might pull their funding. And he said basically to the effect, I'm not going to be bullied by people that give me money and stop me from saying what I want to say. And I actually have a clip, not queued up just yet, but there is a clip of her. There's a clip to confirm that the producer, one of the higher ups at TPUSA, confirmed the text thread saying exactly what she said was true, because he's actually the one that shared the text thread originally, and she pulled it from him.
Yeah.
So what she was she was vilified, being called a liar, and actually what she said about this particular interaction was true. Now, does that mean everything she says is true? No. Does that mean she's right about everything? No. But if you the point is, if you just vilify someone and say, I'm not going to listen to them because someone called them a liar or someone called them an anti-Semite, you're not doing yourself a favor. It's actually really narrow-minded. That wasn't pointed at you.
And, you know, I like the fact that Charlie turned down the money, because he should not be beholden to anybody that's given money to him. The money should be given to him without strings attached.
Yeah, but, you know, in politics, Doc, that's just not how it goes.
No, it's not. And you know, your lawyer wife would say that if somebody tells one lie, then everything they say is a lie.
Should be questioned.
Should be questioned. So there.
Travis, are you back in the pod? You're back in the pod. He's gone
Sure,
down.
I'm here.
He's gone down the research path, and so I just did him again. You believe that? So I don't even know where we're going, because we all got distracted on hydrogen buses of all.
No, well, you were talking about TPUSA, and I'm a big supporter. I loved Charlie. Candace at one time was going on about some type of conspiracy about his death at one point, and I don't know about all that, but
there's still some conspiracy about that there was a group of people who were working on that, and there's always a patsy.
I've heard inside job. I've heard that his lapel mic had a charge in it, and
the latest one I heard, there was a shooter actually from behind.
I've heard that one.
One of the guys I trust, I think it's Chris Martinson. He is a very solid podcaster. He's a doctor, and he did a very significant investigation based on trajectory and everything, and he believes there's no way that the shooter from the front is actually the one that shot Charlie in the neck. And the only part of
the side of his neck, though. It wasn't in the front.
It went straight. From what I saw, it went straight through the front.
What they're saying, though, so I've shot a lot of animals. I've shot a lot of deer. And when you shoot a deer, you don't see anything in the front, ever. You see it especially a 30-06. You shoot it here, it goes in really tiny, and it blows a hole out the other side.
He didn't have a through and through shot.
That's wholly impossible with a 30-06.
I know.
So that's what
I know.
So that's
there's
what
a
I'm saying.
problem.
There's all kinds of problems with it. That's just
it actually hit his cervical spine.
30-06 is blowing his head off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing. There's nothing in a body that's going to stop that thing from making a much bigger exit wound at very least.
Right.
Blowing part of your spine out the other side, whatever.
I know, but the doctor who did the post on him said it's very unusual, but his spine stopped the bullet. Mm-hmm. And we don't know, the guy was shooting 30-06s, but were they good 30-06s? Because they look kind of janky when I looked at the ones that they found.
Well, if you are the one that believes that guy was the lone,
Oh, I don't. I don't. I think it was. He may have pulled the trigger, but
I'm going to say it again.
Else,
I've shot a lot of things.
Yeah. Well,
and if you shoot something in the neck, it's going to come out the other side. Now, if you shoot a deer head on, and it has to travel all the way through their body and hit spine and all that around. I'm not saying that it can't be stopped at some point, but there's nothing in this region that's going to stop a 30-06 bullet.
Well,
so what if there was a deflection from body armor absorbing? They said
he wasn't. They said he wasn't wearing body armor.
Yeah.
That was a conspiracy theory.
It wouldn't have done that.
I saw that.
Where it entered is right over the carotid artery and the vein that goes with it.
The lapel mic thing made sense to me.
That it blow up, but
because it was right by his carotid artery.
The bullet that they found inside him.
Did they find one?
Yes.
I haven't seen that in any kind of investigation.
The doctor said. I mean, I haven't seen the picture, but the doctor said that the bullet
was it JFK's doctor.
I don't know.
That put the 30-06, the clean looking 30-06 or whatever bullet it was that killed him.
Yeah.
You've shot a lot of things. You've never seen a bullet tip that looked like that.
Oh no.
So anyway, the conspiracies that I don't know, and again, I don't want to go too deep into the conspiracies because we don't have any real facts.
Yeah.
But apparently his entire his protection team, his team was Israeli. It was an Israeli security team. So, there's just a lot of stuff swirling around. Well, I'm afraid this is going to become like JFK again, and we just never get answers.
I saw the video of the shot, and as soon as it hit him, that blood started coming out. So that was arterial blood, and I said, "He's a dead man." Right there.
I knew the way he responded right after.
Yeah,
it was done.
His lights went out immediately.
Yeah, he was.
Well, and that's probably because he was hit pretty high up in the spine, and
okay. So again, I want you to look. I want you to look at all of the trajectories.
What are we arguing about?
No, I want you to look at all the trajectories because where they showed the thing go in was right here.
Yeah.
There's no spine there.
You're pointing toward the back.
That was the direction that the alleged shooter was from the front.
It came from the side.
Okay, well then that's not the shooter that they're saying it is.
Okay.
That's what we're getting at. I mean,
it came from the side. I saw the thing, and I didn't see the bullet going through, but it hit him from the side. If you shoot right here, you'll hit the carotid artery, but it won't go out of the side of your neck. Mm-hmm. It'll go out of the front of your neck. Mm-hmm. So he was shot from the side. I thought it was an exit wound.
Yeah, that's what it looks like
when I saw it.
Yeah.
And
well, based on the last conspiracy theory that I heard from a reputable person, their best guess was it actually came from behind side.
Yeah.
Like it was someone up at whatever. And I don't, again, we don't know, but there's enough that the FBI is still investigating it. So
if it didn't go all the way through, that's the thing. And that's what I'm concerned about.
That means it wasn't a 30-06, really.
Well, it could have been crappy powder in that thing. I've seen 30-06s that I could shoot you from here to there and it'd bounce off your chest. Let's not try that. They made them in World War II.
Well, but if it happened at 200 yards and he hit with a precision like that, that's not a crappy bullet.
No,
I'm sorry. That's a highly precise shot from a not very precise person.
Well, yeah, and I've actually shot people from very close range, and it makes a big deal.
Wow, we haven't gotten into those stories.
That was in Honduras.
Really?
Yeah.
Travis, is this
I had
raise any eyebrows for you.
I had to,
He's pulled on me before. I'm used to it.
I had, the reason that we have medical people is to take care of sick people. And if the bad guys are coming to shoot your sick people, then you become an
infantryman.
You become an infantryman. So,
wow, you've never talked about that at all.
No, I don't like to talk about that
because PTSD is a thing.
For about 30 years, it was classified.
Well, even if they're bad guys, I mean, I know cops have to deal with that. Even if they're bad guys, you still shot and potentially killed someone. I'm assuming, and you're still gonna wear that. It's not easy.
Yeah,
I can imagine why you wouldn't want to talk about it. So, we've covered quite a few of the bases, and I don't know if Travis, if you didn't come with any kind of idea, I did want to kind of lay out a warning. It's related to AI, but Palantir kind of is where I feel a concern about what's going on in technology. And part of the deep fakes, and we're not going to, like the picture that I shared, Travis, with Jackie Kennedy and LBJ, obviously was doctored. The video that I created, or the audio track that I created in less than 2.5 minutes, there's actually video software that can help us build videos out of that in a very short time. And that technology is getting so good pretty soon that you're not really going to be able to tell very easily what's real and what's not real. So I am kind of concerned about false flags and things that get released into the wild, and the kind of chaos that can bring, with social pressure and with social media arguments and just nonsense. I mean, maybe it'll drive people off of social media, which could be, potentially an end positive.
Yeah.
But you don't have any take on where we're going with that and kind of where that will lead in society, as far as the deep fake of, say you get a video that proves, quote unquote, Donald Trump or somebody else diddled a kid or whatever, and people will automatically say, because it's already been, well, he's probably in the Epstein file, so it's probably real. So I mean, you already got this narrative built up around all these things, and then you're going to see things, and someone might be able to do something like that to you or me and just falsely incriminate us because they don't like us. So the Palantir thing to me is they're trying to track to make sure they want to be on everyone's devices. They want to know exactly what's being created by who, so they know what's deep fake or not. I think that's the argument, the underlying excuse, just like the Patriot Act came from. We're trying to protect people from more buildings, exploding, but this is well beyond that. So,
yeah, I don't. There's two different ways you can look at that. But Palantir is. There's not a lot of good things that have been said about them that I've heard. But as far as we've talked a little bit about trying to figure out how to differentiate between something AI created or something that's real, or how we're going to do that, if we're going to have real people at every event to validate the events happening or whatever it might be. I don't know how. Right now, in my head, I don't exactly know how we're going to be able to authenticate absolutely everything all the time. Yeah, even if you've used an AI, a personal AI, like you've talked about, to kind of help you figure that out, I mean, that can't be 100% always. I would.
Well, if you could think about this, if we could triangulate, let's just say you and me decided we were going to go to a Bitcoin conference or something, or any somewhere where they're shooting a video, a concert or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you and I could just triangulate our cameras and say, this is both us, whatever, and it's two different things that are blockchain. So there's two different, I guess, signals or codes that get built into those overlapping videos. Maybe that's a way to cross-check things. But that would eliminate like a single video of one person shooting it. That would make it less, like a body cam for a cop would, you couldn't take one and doctor one, which you could probably take a
Sure, you can.
a cam and doctor it if it's one. But if you had another police officer looking from this way and one looking from this way, it's hard to cross coordinate those things and make them look alike. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So, but that's again going to take technology, your technology talking to my technology, and us giving up that freedom of I don't want you looking at what I've got on my camera or paying attention to what I'm doing. I mean, it's all that stuff that we're dealing with. It's a problem. I mean, so that, and I don't, it's coming pretty quick is what I'm concerned about. Nobody sees the same fear that I have here on this one.
No, I do. I'm trying to think about how you could combat it and whether or not it is going to take some type of invasion of privacy or whether it's, or it's not. And that kind of stems back from, I still am having a problem clicking myself when I talk. That stems back from like when we've had conversations about how, I don't mind that my smart devices are always listening because I don't really have anything to hide. Like that, I have that mentality on some things like, if you say the A person, or the AI driven, hey A or hey S for Apple's version, whatever that might be, they're always listening, or they won't know to listen for the keywords to start doing whatever they're doing. So
I actually would like to shut those off myself.
You can't. Well, I mean, you can.
I mean, I just would like those not to be a thing.
What? Just any type of
listening all the time, and because you can say "hey" rather than pick it up and pushing the button and say,
"Oh, like pushing like a physical button."
Yeah, just like, please, here's my question, or here's what I want. I don't need you listening for me to give it to you. Like it'd be like you following me around because we do a podcast, so you're going to follow me around all day long. Just so you might, so we might. If I have a question about the podcast, you're just there for me,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm with you all the time until you say, "Hey, Travis."
I'll just wait. I'll just wait.
Yes, Chad.
Let me just write down this question and I'll ask you next time I see you. How about that?
But yeah, so what we might need to do, whether it's some type of on-device thing, maybe an encrypted on-device thing, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take, because even your 2 videos could be created. If you've got quantum computing, supercomputers, and you just need 2 vantage points.
Well, I think anything, we're talking about a temporary stopgap right now. And like with any hack, you got a period that you're safe, that you figured out how you solve the problem, and then the hackers always kind of come in above that.
New problem.
There's a new problem that you have to create with different technology or different different code. I don't know. I mean, these are the questions though that as you're sitting around, I'm sitting around at night trying to think, and I'm not an advanced coder, but I feel like the concerns that I have, probably whether people know that they have them or not, it's something that needs to be answered, and it should be out in the open, transparent, before we agree to a Palantir. Before we just blindly agree, we need to know what it's doing.
In my brain, anything digital is going to be able to be doctored by an AI. So I don't know.
Doc's just going to the can. It doesn't matter. We can see him going out. He'll be back.
Yeah,
we're invading his privacy by telling people he's going to the bathroom right now.
I tried to switch cameras so we wouldn't watch him leave, but
you
started talking about it, so now we're all just.
When he walk in, you got to what's the walk of shame when he comes back in? You got to give him the 1 or the 2, 1 or 2.
Well, we'll know by time maybe. But as far so then you start going down a rabbit hole about anything digital then can be touched by an AI, by a supercomputer, by a quantum computer, whatever that might be. I mean, there's a movie called Source Code, or there's also another movie called Eagle Eye. There's a lot of these movies that use AI and what it can do, and I don't know that there's any way to protect the digital scape. It might almost be easier to require analog devices, go reel to reel on video or something to validate like the major events happening. I have no idea, but I mean, I think the digital
take a step back in technology just to verify.
Almost, I really don't know.
You can't see that happening. That's not realistic.
No, not it truly isn't. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, anything digital, I feel like can be messed with in some way, shape, or form. Even if you have multiple vantage points, you just have to have a powerful enough computer to deal with that. And really, quantum computing is not really made. A supercomputer would be able to do these things, but a quantum computer really is not. The way quantum works is you're going to be able to do more arithmetic. Yeah, hey Doc. Things that super vague things that it needs to crunch and compute. A quantum computer is really not going to be as useful as you might think.
You're slightly more, I would say, probably quite a bit more tech savvy than I am. What are your thoughts on some kind of a blockchain? Back when we used to, I did a lot of optimizing of photos, and each photo, has a stamp basically of a geolocation,
metadata,
and metadata and that kind of thing. What about some kind of specific stamp to verify? Say, let's go right, because we're talking about the cop. Let's say the metadata from that has a geolocator on it, and we know we know where this particular incident happened. You can cross.
So once again, metadata. Now you have to do it. You can't do it in real time, really. But I could take these videos we're recording. I could throw it through a program and make all the metadata show that we were doing this in Russia.
No, I would in that particular instance, I would think it would need to be proven that it was a single video, never edited. Like, it needs to be some kind of verification of original film.
Yeah.
And to me, the technology, there should be some kind of layered stamp to me. Now, that doesn't stop people from just creating a video and you're not being able to tell that it's real or not, unless you have that multiple layer of proofing, as it were. But if a person is known to send out trash all the time, and that they're not backed up with real video, at least you can look at that person and say, you sent trash all the time. You've been reviewed. We're not going to listen to anything that you say. There's got to be some kind of a grading device for that. And I don't know what that means.
I don't either. We've talked about all kinds of things. We talked about DNA. We talked about almost like a blood, like having on a device, to literally just try, or an iris scan or something. But any of those things can be.
Yeah. I don't want trying to have my iris scans. I'd rather not do that. But I mean, the thumbprint might be a thing.
Not the print. I mean the actual because even anything digital, man.
Oh, that's true.
If you can go organic, then you've got maybe a little better chance. I don't know.
So every time you film a video, you have to do a thumb prick.
Well, I mean,
built into your phone, it's just gonna.
I don't know.
There was a movie with all.
I'd be a little gun shy. Oh, I don't know if I want to push this or not.
Yeah,
or maybe there'd be a lot less.
There was a movie with that in where you had to get in, you had to put your thumb down and it'd take some blood out.
Yeah, because like you said, the thumb was it Minority Report, or I'm sure it was a Tom Cruise movie where he.
No, it wasn't Tom Cruise.
Where he faked the thumbprint.
That's Mission Impossible.
And the guy that was in there. He was trying to be somebody else.
Get into a bioweapons lab or something deep into a 6-layer thing.
Right.
5 miles underground.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we went down a crazy rabbit hole for too long, and we could probably talk about something else that might people.
You want me to throw you a rope so we pull you out
of this rabbit hole?
Rat hole.
So let's see. I got several other directions. None of them really fit with where we're at.
Is our shutdown ever going to stop? You want to talk about that?
I'm not prepared, but
wait a minute. Obama shut down the U.S. government for 17 days in order to get Obamacare passed.
And I wish it would still be closed based on that.
Yeah, we all would based on that. But this could go on a long time. I remember one time during the Clinton administration that it was closed down for months. And man, we were shooting bald eagles and everything because there were no guys out there watching us.
I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that. I haven't shot a bald eagle before, but
yeah, I'm just kidding with.
No,
that.
I know. So, I mean, from what I understand, I know you're not prepared, and I mean, we can just kind of throw out there a little bit, but from the things that I've seen and read, Republicans were trying to just pass an elongation of how things stood. However it was right then, they just wanted to expand it for another whatever it was, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it was.
The Democrats want to just throw in $1 trillion for illegal health
for illegal immigrants, right?
Yeah,
isn't that what the big thing was?
Yeah, and because they've canceled the free health for
I love how they act like that's not what they're talking about. And if you go back, you can find a video of them all up on stage during the convention for the Democratic, like before they had a Democratic nominee and the whomever the proctor or whatever, not proctor, but the person hosting or whatever. Whatever. They said, so how many of you's your healthcare ideas stemmed to giving healthcare to illegal immigrants, and every single hand went up. Have you seen that video? No. I'll have to find that and send it to you. It's
so what tax-paying Americans, who that writes a check to the IRS,
I can find that and send it to you real quick,
would vote for paying for healthcare for people that don't belong or live in our country?
Oh,
that makes zero sense on any level to me.
They're bleeding hearts, and they say, oh, those poor people, they need health care just like anybody else does. So it doesn't matter.
We've got Americans that can't afford health care.
I know.
So I don't know. So why don't you first say, let's get, if we can afford, find a way to fund health care for all Americans, then we have some money left over at the end of it. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about adding some people into it.
Oh, but they're going to be dying in the streets.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. That's why I don't like, these bleeding heart lefties.
Yeah, and
I'll get censored for that.
No, you won't. You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything in any mean way. They call us. Well, I'm not exactly in the same plane as everybody else, but they call people on the right all the names too. Sure. I try to stay away from it as much as I can, just because I want to talk to people on both sides.
Found it. I'm sending it to you right now.
Oh. Yeah.
So I just have I only have one joke. It's a random joke, and it's something that's never funny. But how many funny abortion jokes have you had? Have you heard? So this is really spicy.
So none. I
okay,
guess.
None. It's not very funny, and I think that's what makes this particular thing funny.
Yeah.
This guy's a really good comedian.
Oh, we're doing a video.
And a woman approached me. She was like, "Hey, that's very insensitive. I've had an abortion. You shouldn't tell jokes like that." I was like, "Whoa, hey, sorry. I just told a joke. I think what you did was much worse." But, either way, I'll see you at home later, honey.
Well, like the...
And again, all jokes. I love abortions. I paid for 2 last week. I'm a fan, right? You remember? Come on. It's all jokes. A friend of mine, she works at Planned Parenthood. She loves that joke. And I was like, I might have to get rid of it. People don't like it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. I was like, don't tell me what to do with my body of work. She's like, every joke's a miracle. But I don't want to upset anybody, Oh, jeez. I told an abortion joke recently.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There are no really funny ones, but he did a really good job of kind of dancing over it and making fun of both sides. I thought it was pretty good comedy. Okay, what you said did you pull up something, or do you have something, Travis?
I texted to you.
Oh, so I got to look at my... Okay. You want to provide some... Ooh, sign in to confirm you're not a bot. What?
Click the lower... Yeah, click that.
There we go. YouTube doesn't like me very much.
Figure this out.
I'm going to pause it real quick.
So this is the Democratic convention, the debate. It's playing for some reason.
Yeah, I'll stop it.
In 2019, and she's asking everybody. Well, you'll hear it. She just go ahead and play it. This is from 2019.
Okay.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And everybody's cheering about it.
Let me start with you, Mayor Buttigieg. Why?
There you go. That was really it. But I mean, and they're all cheering about it.
So that's just a Democrat platform.
Yeah.
And again, you got people that are, our dollar's worth less and less. We're struggling to survive. Inflation is skyrocketing, and yet we're prioritizing healthcare for illegal aliens. I wonder why they lost. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, that was in 2019. They won.
Yeah, they
Well,
yeah.
Well,
really?
Did they?
You want to go back down that? You want to go back down that rabbit hole?
Well, we know what they said. We're asking if they really did win.
I don't know. I'm not fully in alignment with that one right now. But anyway,
Just posing questions.
Just posing
Well,
questions.
did you know that Mexico has passed a law that says if you put up memes on a post that you can be arrested and taken to jail. So
Where's
Mexico.
Mexico now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened.
I know
There's a
they
few
were doing that in
countries.
Europe. Yeah, they were doing
somewhere over in Europe.
UK is
Yeah.
that's real.
UK and Germany. I don't know about France.
I've heard Scotland's getting bad to the point where my wife is trying to plan a Scotland trip for 27 or 28, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind going over there and going golfing. I've heard cool things about Scotland, but apparently they're having some big time issues like that now. So I'm like, if they can scan my history of posts and videos, I don't know if it's really a good idea.
They probably wouldn't let you in, or they
if they knew you, they wouldn't let you
put
in.
the cuffs on you right away. We know you.
Chad Schmidt? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Schmidt, right? Yeah. No, you're not getting in.
I'm definitely taking my Bitcoin wallet when I go over there. Let's put it that way. So I've kind of crossed over everything, and if I circle back around to anything, it's going to be way off where we've been. So I don't, it's a little before 8. We're kind of an early one tonight, unless I can look through here and find something else cool to. Let me see if there's anything. Is there anything on the board, Trav, that you think that we haven't touched?
I don't know. I did see where they're trying to pass the requirement of an ID to vote, but I don't know if that's up there.
Yeah,
that's been going on for a while.
That's one of the ones that the Democrats are against too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it gives away. Well, Indiana was the first county or state to require a picture ID to vote. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and this is a long time ago. It was like 20 years ago. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, they can do that. Mm-hmm. And so they're passing that out. And, it doesn't cost anything to get all you have to do is go to the BMV with proof that you are a citizen, and they'll give you a photo ID.
What's this keeping family data out of centralized data centers thing?
That is more of the security. God bless you.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of the security, personal AI protecting your data from going.
And that's kind of what I was talking about. Or at least, I don't know what you mean by home data necessarily, or if you mean all individuals'
personalized data. I don't want to throw it into a data center unless I know where it's going and what they're using it for.
That's where I was talking about, kind of your own home system, where it's all local and not necessarily.
Well, that's
when you go into public though.
That's what the 23andMe does. Is that they'll take your DNA and they'll immediately, after they've looked at it, run it to find out if you're related to anybody. That happened to Patty. She all of a sudden got a contact from someone who said, I think we're sisters. And she said, wait a minute, I've only got one sister and she's dead. And this lady called her and said, we matched up on 23andMe, and we are really half-sisters. And it turned out that her father was fooling around. And
what did that have to do? I mean, that's a wild story.
But 23andMe does that with everybody's DNA.
If you mean shares it, or what do they do with the DNA?
Compare the DNA.
Well, that's the whole point.
DNA to any others.
Well, that's the whole point of that. I mean, I've done 23andMe, and that's like the whole point. That's the reason why you do it, is to see your relations and your origins and all that kind of stuff.
But your DNA is permanently out there. I guess is probably
it's permanently out there, and 23andMe just got sold out to somebody else.
Well, right now, probably, Travis, with current technology, I can understand that maybe it doesn't seem like there's big of a risk there, but to me, there's, if you look at bioweapon future technologies and looking at different ways to analyze DNA and different, different types of bioweapons that you could sync up just to particular gene sequences.
The feds start going through the DNA at 23andMe and trying to match it for unknown
past
DNA and for past crime.
Do hospitals keep DNA records?
No.
It's supposed to be protected under HIPAA.
Well,
isn't it?
No,
I'm just asking if it exists.
Yeah.
Do you know if it exists? Like if DNA records, like if you go to the hospital and have some significant.
No, they won't. Thing. They won't do the whole DNA stuff there.
Just blood analysis.
Yeah, the blood will be there, and they'll throw it away after a period of time. So, but if you send DNA like saliva to 23andMe or any other place, that's out there. And theoretically, the government could come in and say, we want to run to see if we can get a match on this.
Okay. I honestly don't see the problem with that.
If the government is trying
unless it's a tyrannical government system or something, but I mean, if it's just somebody trying to find somebody who killed somebody,
well, you never can tell which one's going to be tyrannical. That's the real problem.
Well, no, I get that.
Once you open it up, it's there.
Suppose your brother killed somebody and you put your DNA out there, you're close enough that they would jump on you.
Yeah, they'll come talk to me. That's fine.
No, they would arrest you. And
okay,
say,
and then
you're a match.
Well, but I'm not a match. You're familiar DNA, pretty close, but pretty close isn't exact.
Well, but Travis, here's the short-sighted response to what you just said. If you're charged with a crime and charged of a murder that happened many years ago, you're going to have to pay for an attorney. Your life's going to be flipped upside down. Everyone that you know is going to look at you differently and talk to you differently. So it's not just as easy as I'm innocent and everything is going to be fine.
I get that.
You're right, but your life still gets completely flipped upside down.
Well, okay, but so you're a crime that happened years ago. Why would my DNA be at that crime scene?
Your brothers might be.
Yeah.
Or your cousins.
Or a similar. And I mean, if he went and strangled
but it's
somebody,
not. But it's not that's not a match.
Well, it can be close.
No, it's actually not. I've looked through DNA and familial ties, and I'm only my first cousin. So my mom's brother's child and I only share about 25% of the same DNA.
Well, let me tell you this.
Because of all the different
lady,
ancestry crossovers.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I mean that's what it is. So I mean,
this lady was indeed a half sister of Patty.
Yeah,
and
that's legit. Yeah,
yeah, but
But if she murdered somebody and left her DNA there, are they going to come arrest Patty? No, they're not close enough. They're nowhere near close enough. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't think you're right.
Well, we'll learn this one later. I'm going to cross back over into one little clip scene and end with this because part of this clip I think is relevant based on why Charlie got murdered, with all the rhetoric and things that are going on in society and all the different arguments that are going on in social media and our willingness to call people names, whether it's leftist liberal lunatic or a fascist righty Trumper. It's really dangerous narratives, especially coming from the left now, and that's why I think everybody needs to tone it down a little bit, not because we don't have freedom of speech, because we do. You can say whatever you want to say. But when you have a large number of people out there calling people fascists, calling people Hitler, calling people all these names, we've been trained throughout our lives to think Hitler's so bad, of course you should kill him. Or fascists are so bad, of course they're the enemy, and who really cares what happens to them? Yeah. So the whole labeling thing has gotten out of control, which is what we're fighting on. So I want this clip to kind of go over that. I thought Constantine and Piers did a pretty good one here.
Conciliatory mood, and I think it's important that we're all responsible with our words. But I found it difficult to sit there and listen to this preposterous conversation you've just had. I don't understand this time last year, I sat across from one of your guests, Cenk, on that particular occasion, in which he tried to persuade me for 20 minutes that Donald Trump was a fascist. That's how the left talks about their political opponents. And I'm someone who's not politically affiliated. I'm just looking at the facts of what I see. We have had, for the last 10 years, what has happened to the word Nazi as a result of the woke left's behavior is completely unacceptable. This is a word that we had for a very specific group of people that was supposed to describe people who believe in National Socialism and fascism. These words have very specific meanings, and the meanings that they had were very important for being able to describe people who are actually of that opinion. And instead, both in America and here across the Atlantic in Britain, we've had, and we're not talking about people on Twitter or people on Blue Sky. I'm talking about David Lammy, who's the current deputy prime minister, talking about a group of conservative Eurosceptics and saying they're worse than Nazis. We've had this for a whole decade now, the complete dehumanization of people for simply having political disagreements. And so when I see that the killer of Charlie Kirk had these so-called anti-fascist inscriptions on his ammunition, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. Of course this would happen. And people like to pretend that this has no consequence. Well, think about it, Piers. You're a man, I'm a man. If you and I thought that fascism was actually here, as we keep being told, wouldn't it be our duty to stand up and fight? So can we really be surprised then when some deranged guy picks up a rifle and shoots someone who people on the media, people on TV keep saying is a fascist, keep saying is a Nazi, is completely irresponsible? And I'll just make one conciliatory mood, and I think
that's it. So he makes a very, very solid point. And again, we can all sit around and call any president or group of people different things, but there's definitely a line in the sand that I think we've crossed, and I don't know exactly how to solve it. I don't know how you unwind that clock. It's a little fearful, obviously, because we happen to be on the side that talks about these things that a lot of people on the left don't think that we should talk about at all. And that's just, so should we live in fear? Should we never talk about things again and hide in the shadows because we can't say the things that we think need to be said? I mean, this is really kind of on the cusp of where I think we are as a society. And, when I just wanted to share this one with you guys, because when Charlie got killed and all the stuff came up about whether the shooter turns out to be the shooter or not, or if it's just a patsy, doesn't really matter. It's the rhetoric either causing someone to do that, or it's the rhetoric that creates the umbrella where it's easy to understand why they would, because they thought Charlie was a fascist, that they shot whatever. So obviously it's easy to make him a patsy because he wrote all this on a shell, and he's on this private network and he's got this secret group of friends, and so they can just make up these things that provide cover for people to do stupid things. Yeah. And so I feel like this is something that needs to go on in conversations, even with people that we know, when we hear them talking like this. And that's why I got engaged in that conversation with a couple local professors at a local college, because they were basically aligning with the people that use these words and saying something about free speech and celebrating people that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And that's happening at local college institutions of people that are teaching teachers. And I'm just like, what are we doing? I don't understand how this can even be a thing. Yeah. So that's kind of my last point. Whether you have anything to say on it or not, I just wanted to get that one out. It was too good of a clip and a talking point. I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
I agree with it.
I agree,
but I want to do a quick follow up of what we were talking about right before it.
Okay,
just real quick.
We edit the video and we'll skip it back around.
No, we don't have to do that at all.
Okay.
You share approximately 50% of your DNA with a full sibling. Percentages can vary anywhere from 38 to 61 due to the random nature of genetic inheritance. Yeah. A half sibling shares about 25%. So it is nowhere close.
Yeah, but how can they say that this woman is the half sister of Patty?
They look at genetic markers from the parents and all those things. I mean, it's possible, but as far as the genetic, this is what you share. This is what it says right here. So if my brother goes and kills somebody and leaves genetic material behind, they're not going to think it's me.
Well,
they might come ask you questions.
Genetic markers.
They might.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like you said, if there's something happened like that, you're like, okay, if he did it, let's figure it out, man. Yeah. So
anyway, I just want to tell that.
All right. Cool.
Say that little piece.
Doc, you got anything else to share?
Well, I don't know about that, but I know that.
Well, you can get in a rabbit hole and do some research and come back and
I'll think about that.
Think about it and come back and.
Well, I just wonder, if the government can get to those DNAs, I'm going to
say out of the gate, I'm on your side about not wanting the government to have it.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not saying what
they're going to do with it or what they can do with it is, to me, is kind of up in the air. Do I think they should have it just because they can? Hell no. I don't like.
I mean, there's already databases of, you've got military. Every military individual has their DNA on record.
I don't.
I bet you do.
But I don't.
Well, you were in it so long ago. I don't know. But
yeah, I had my blood taken, but I never had a DNA test while I was in there. Yeah, 30 years ago was when I got out of it. It was a little more than
You'd be
30
surprised.
years.
I bet you might not know it, but I bet there'd be a database for them to run you up against, and you would come across.
My footprints are sure in there. And
probably your thumbprints, too, would be.
Well, all of my fingerprints are there. I've been fingerprinted a dozen times. But, I mean, sometimes to get a license in a particular state, you have to get fingerprinted. But the one thing they did for me, because I was going to be in a flying position, was they took my bottom footprints, and it was on a thing like this, and you stepped on it and got the ink on it and stepped on the other one. And the reason is that if you die in an airplane crash, your feet are less likely to be burned up, and they can identify you for that.
That and dental records were.
Well, they took pictures of my teeth, but my teeth look a hell of a lot different than they did back in whenever it was, 1980.
Yeah, I don't want the government taking DNA samples. I don't want them storing it. I don't want them using it. I also don't want them scanning my retina and using it. That's going to China surveillance state, and I don't. That's
my retina is somewhere in the government, because there were some places that it was so secret that you had to be identified, and we had to use our eyes.
So they do have his stuff, Travis.
Well, yeah.
They could identify him. You're a marked man.
Yeah, I am. Well, I thought that was a good thing. They
oh yeah, you don't want the wrong people going into those places.
When they told me, I said, why are you footprinting me? And they said, if you're ever in an airplane crash, your leather boots will protect you, and we'll be able to match that and figure out that those feet are yours.
And since you're a flight surgeon, there was a good chance that you had a fairly reasonable chance that you could end up at the end of a crash scene, didn't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Because I was, whatever I flew in, if it screwed up, it would hit ground. We had a crash of a B-1 when I was at Dyess Air Force Base in Texas, and the remaining people, there were 3 got out and three were unable to get out, and there was only a small part of them left, and we were trying to identify them. And what we did was make a drawing of the moles on the guy who didn't get out, and show them to his wife, and she said, yes, he has moles exactly like that.
Okay.
And that was to identify him so that they could, bury him.
Yeah.
It was basically that much of his torso was left.
Yeesh.
Yeah. And the other guys were a little easier because they weren't blown up as bad as he was.
We've gone really dark here at the end, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I had to.
I know. You saw some dark
when
stuff.
that thing crashed, I was sent over to the wife of the commander on there, and I said, we don't know who got out. We don't know who didn't get out right now. But let me give you some sedatives and cool things out for you. So I did. And because, the first thing she said to me was it so-and-so's ship that went down? And I said, yes, it was. We know that he was on there, but we don't know who got in and who got out. We knew that 3 people got out and 3 people didn't.
Wow.
Tough.
Well, gentlemen,
All right.
It's been
that's a way to close.
It's been a very spicy afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
As always, I appreciate both of you so much.
All right.
Anyone listening for the first time or interested in helping us, we've got several ways you can do that. Dr. Roy has some ivermectin he can sell you. Are you running out low on supply? Maybe have to
I'm not running low on supply.
So get it while it's hot. You can contact him.
300 here.
You can look him up, Dr. Roy Arnold on Twitter at Air Rescue Doc.
Yeah.
I congratulate you on putting Dr. Roy Arnold on there. You didn't have that on there for a long time.
No, I
think
didn't.
It probably helps you.
You told me to do that.
I told you a long time ago.
Yeah.
You finally did it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's really good. But you can find me at Chad Schmidt. I can get you in touch with Dr. Roy. I did one more last time.
I think your handle should be Schmidthead.
Schmidthead. Ooh, that's good. I like that. So maybe by next podcast, me and Travis will have some nodes running for Bitcoin, and we'll talk to you more about what that means. And I might be mining Bitcoin by that time, which will be pretty exciting.
Yeah, on that thing.
Which is going to be a very small amount. But if you're listening to speculators on where Bitcoin may go, every little bit's going to count at some point.
Yeah.
So anyway, love you all. Appreciate it.
All right.
See you next time.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.